You're welcome to the Tunde podcast, the Nigerian theatre witnesses to history. In the last episode, we were talking with Prince Tunde ODUNLADE, an internationally acclaimed artist and the chief executive and owner of the Tunde ODUNLADE Arts Gallery in Bodija, Ibadan. And he had delved into the intrigues that came on as the federal government wanted to establish the National Dance Troupe and the National Theatre Group. Today we'll continue from where we stopped and we'll delve deeper into that subject and other issues on the art scene. Let's go back to Prince Tunde ODUNLADE, but let me remind you that you can get new episodes of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History on the Tunde podcast platform. And if you click on the subscribe button, you will get a notification once a new episode is coming on. A new episode comes on every Thursday, and we will appreciate if you will also click on the like button and share to other people this interesting discussion that we are having with the witnesses to the Nigerian theatre growth. Let's go on now to Prince Tunde ODUNLADE.
He kept being the National Drama Troupe and also the National Dance Troupe that was headed by Oba Gbenga.
Yes.
And that troupe, so they were like the sister group, the sister dance group of the National Drama Troupe.
True.
And the choreographer then was our friend Zulu Adigwe. The Basian company. So we were all still kept, at Festac Town. We were still rehearsing. And after Festac, they brought forms to all of us who would be interested in becoming the
transiting into the National
Drama Troupe. So they brought forms, and some of us took the form, virtually all of us, except for those who felt like, oh, I'm a pamsec in my state. What do I need a job for? As a member of the National Drama Troupe. So they brought the forms and we all filled it out. And that's when we realized that our apartment was going to be our own property. Because we were going to become the member of the National Drama Troupe. And so we filled out the form and we were still there. February ending, early March. And those who did not want to form part of the drama troupe, they will not leave and they will not let us leave. They will not let us breathe. So much that the pressure became so much on Professor Dakwadeluba as the director there and Chiwale Oguyemi that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who was the head of state there, had to come to Festac Town to come and hold meeting with us. And so he came. And these folks started shouting, no, you can't keep us here. No, why are we still here? No, this, that. And Chief Obasanjo kept his calm. And at a point, one young lady, I don't want to mention her name, stood up and was heading towards Obasanjo, and the soldiers came and grabbed her. And they were going to, deal with her when the leader sisters stood up. That no, you cannot do that. So it became a big commotion. Wow. And we were there. We were interested in becoming
members of the National Drama Troupe.
It was like we didn't have a voice. These people just took over, and at the point, Chief Obasanjo could no longer.
The activists.
He just stood up and left. And then few weeks after, we were told to prepare, whatever it is, the company may be owing us, whatever, and that the troupe
was being disbanded.
And so, and I think it was right around early April that all of us left the camp. And that was how
That was the sad end of the first attempt at the national
drama
troop.
The
That was supposed to metamorphose from First Act 77 for Nigeria.
Yes. So much later, years later, the Tunde, started recruiting. Went to all the art councils around the country, came to Ibadan here. But at that point, I was fully engaged with my visual art. So I wasn't interested in becoming a national troop.
But you've not really sunk your visual art into productions, either stage, television, film. Why?
See, all these things, they are of the same father. Visual art, television, whatever, they are all of the same father, different mother. So, I see myself gravitating towards visual art because that was where my exposure began to happen. More so when I started traveling overseas to Britain. At a point, I was invited. In 1980, I was in Mama Doll's house, Carol Doll's, and her beautiful daughter, sitting down chatting. And with Professor Dagwadi, when a lady came, her name is Carol Betra. She came, and so she said, she went to the department. Her mission to Nigeria was to get a textile artist who can use his textile into creating stage set. And so she told Mama Doss that.
And you were sitting there.
And I was sitting there. And Mama Doss just turned onto me and said, Tunde, that's you. So Carol Betra and I just started talking. And then she said, would you like to come to Ireland, Dublin? I said, yes. So after that meeting, she came to my house. I was living at Shasha then, right around Sam Loco and most of us. We lived in India. We were all living around Shasha then. So she came to my house, and the rest is academics. By the following year, she invited me to Dublin. Not only to come and showcase my art, but also to use my textile as an artist into creating stage set, which then took us to Manchester. And so after the show in Dublin, in Abbey Theatre, in Dublin, then we flew down to Manchester. And we got to Manchester and took part in this play, actually a pantomime. I designed the stage, using textile to create stage set.
Do you have pictures of that?
Too bad. I don't know.
Okay, we can still get, if we talk to them in that center in Manchester.
In Manchester, if
I'm sure they will have.
Yeah, I'm sure Carol Betra is still alive.
Okay,
so she may
have the picture
adequate record of that.
Right.
So we created the stage set, Carol and I, and then we performed the pantomime. And the title of the pantomime was Funky Chicken. I remember the tune. Pa pa da 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 da, pa 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 da pa pa da 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 da, pa da da da. Funky Chicken. It was a satire, I think, for Margaret Thatcher, if I remember, the Prime Minister of Britain then. And that the Prime Minister then was sharing turkey in every home to bribe people, And so that was what the writer was focusing on. The way freedom in those part of the world, that people have freedom of speech.
Yeah.
What we couldn't do then,
Yeah.
they would do without any hassle. So the pantomime took place, and I think I may have spent about 2 weeks there, and from there we moved to the University of Sussex in Brighton.
Okay.
Where I now did residency.
Okay.
And so the residency at the University of Sussex was a huge success. It was in Farmer Brighton. The father of Carol Betra was a mathematician of note. So she taught at University of Sussex in Brighton.
Carol.
He taught. The father taught in that school. So I think that was how she was able to facilitate that.
Right.
And I became a resident artist at Gardner Center for the Art. I stayed there at the University of Sussex. And that was a huge success indeed. And that just became an eye-opener. Oh.
You saw what was possible.
What was possible. So I returned to Nigeria. I left in 1981, returned to Nigeria in January 1982. And life hasn't been the same.
And you have been taking the world on since that time.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to go to the experiences you've had abroad in terms of art patronage, sponsorship, the backing of government, the private sector, foundations, and what we have in Nigeria.
Yes.
How do they compare?
It's a far cry. It's a far cry. I'd met this beautiful lady who just took me up as her son, kind-hearted. And I'm talking of Dr. Sibu James. Dr. Sibu James, English department. And she in fact founded MCA for the Faculty of Arts, Masters in Communication Arts. And I was like a foster son. So I'd met with her. I think I may have met her in 1975 when she first came to Nigeria. So all along that I've met her, she has always, taken me up. She has always been a great supporter of my art. If I needed money, I would go to her. She would give me. If I needed food, she would give me. So, and she has been supporting me, giving me this motherly care. So in 1982, when I just returned from Britain, she bought one of my works and gave it to International Reading Association in Delaware, where in fact the current president come from,
Joe Biden.
So she gave my work, that batik, I can't remember the title. She gave it to IRA because she was a member of International Reading Association. They are members all over the world. I'm sure they still do. So she gave that piece to IRA, and IRA had it hanging in the library, and everybody loved it. And so in 1983, the then president of IRA was going. And so all the members around the world were asked to provide a page each to form a scrapbook for the outgoing president of IRA. So my mother then called me. Then my mother then wrote back and asked the librarian, what do you suggest I write? What do you think will really catch, the scenery, the true sense of it? And then the librarian said, well, you donated that piece of art to the library. And this is a piece that everybody knows. And you said the artist is your foster son. Why don't you get him to write something about the art They will take photograph of the art and they will put it on the same page of the work with the story, and that will form your own one page for the scrapbook for the outgoing president. And so, oh wow, that's a brilliant idea. So my mother called me and said, Tunde, what is your inspiration behind that work? The photograph of the work was taken and was sent. And don't forget, it wasn't days when communication was that easy.
Yeah.
You know.
No internet.
No internet. That so, just so, be like a,
so they must post.
Of an eye, you know.
No WhatsApp.
No WhatsApp. So that was, I've taken months for all these back and forth, you know, communication. So the photograph was sent, and I looked at the work, and I wrote my inspiration on the work, and then Dr. James looked at it and edited it, and we attached it to the picture, and it was sent back by mail, post office. So it was sent back. And so that formed Dr. James' page for the scrapbook that was given.
So the outgoing president.
The outgoing president. And so the following year, 1984, it was time for the annual conference of International Reading Association that was due to take place in World Congress Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And so the librarian wrote back again to my mother and said, would that artist like to come to the US for this conference? And so my mother asked me and said, yes, I would love to. And before I knew it, all the letters were sent, you know, and as fate will have it, I went to the embassy to apply for visa. This was 1984. And the person who interviewed me, you know, you will love this. She said, your name is Tunde ODUNLADE. And I said, yes, ma'am. And you said you're an artist. I said, yes. And then she said, do you know someone by the name of Samson? And before she could say anything else, I said, oh, Samson, oh, Amadi. And she said, yes. Do you know him? Do you know him? And I said, yes, I do. I was just with him a week ago at his University of Jos residence. He said, you know him? You know him? You know him? Then she was about going and came back and said, by the way, can I see one of your works? And thank God I had one of my works with me. So I pulled out one and showed it to her. And then she said, I will be right back with your visa.
Oh no. Straight like that?
Just like that. That was all the interview I had. 30 minutes later, my passport was in my hand. Back in.
With the visa?
With the visa. Guess how many years? 4 years.
Visa?
Multiple entry, yes.
4 years?
Yes. 4 years. Then she came back and said, I just saw you as somebody who has a great future. Please, 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 keep to that dream that I could see in front of you becoming a star. Enjoy your stay. And that was how I left the embassy. I didn't even open the passport. I'd already gotten on the taxi. And you know, those days, you could ride on taxis with other people in Lagos.
Yeah.
Now you literally charter a taxi.
Yeah.
So, and I was already on the taxi when I said, oh, let me even see what the visa looked like. Then I brought it out of my pocket. Then I opened it. And the lady sitting next to me, who was also in the embassy, saw it and just screamed, who are you? And I looked at her and I said, yes, what happened? Wow, 4 years, when they even denied me.
Ooh.
I said,
story.
I said, what does that mean? He said, it means you can be going back and forth to the US for the next 4 years. Oh, okay. So I came back to Ibadan. Went straight to my mother. Did you get the visa? Yes, I did. She just carried me. Tunde, I know you are going places. But just make sure You are level-headed.
Dr. Sybil James.
So, Dr. Sybil James.
Nice woman.
Yes. And you behave yourself.
Talk woman.
So, that was how I went to World Congress Center in Atlanta, Georgia, to have a show. I was given a booth, in fact 2 booths, free of charge. And I display all my works. And on that very trip, I met a lot of people, including Ambassador Andrew Young. Because after the conference, I went into town.
You were in his territory.
Oh my Lord. Somebody had given me contact for somebody. Oh, hey, Auntie Toni Morrison.
Oh, okay.
Toni Kate Bambara, a fantastic writer. She passed now. So I contacted Auntie Toni, and Auntie Toni said, okay, it was Esikini Olusoyin who gave me Auntie Toni Kate Bambara's contact. So, and after the conference, I went looking for her, and I found her. Then I realized that I remember that there was this couple who were in Ibadan, Professor Gailey, Professor James and Virginia Gailey. They were staying with Professor Armstrong, who was the director of the Institute of African
Studies at the time.
And at that point, I actually met Dr. Sybil James right in the courtyard of the Institute of African Studies that Professor Armstrong gave me to do anything I wanted to. So I had a courtyard to myself. And I put up a lot of shows, performances, every 2 weeks. Sometimes, whenever I needed it, I had it. And that was where I met Dr. Sybil James.
The trajectory for the professional life of Prince Tunde Odunlade is taking interesting dimensions. Is meeting people who will have an impact on the kind of artist that he will go on to become. And he's met Professor Armstrong, who was the then director of the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ibadan. And he's gone on to meet Dr. Sybil James, who was a lecturer in the Faculty of Arts in the same university. How did they affect his professional life, his move, as we continue with our discussion with Tunde Odunlade next week and see how these people are going to make an impact on who he will become in the future.